This video will quickly show you how easy it is to actually install a VPN client and access library resources remotely. We actually have two ways that you can access the library resources remotely. One is using the VPN AnyConnect connection, and the other is using the Easy Proxy service. If you are doing extensive library research, it is highly recommended that you use the VPN connection. If you're doing just kind of an item search, Easy Proxy would still work for you. So those are the main differences between those two, and we'll talk a little bit more about those later. We do have a library guide for remote access, and you can access it by going to libraryguides.lehigh.edu/remote. This will give you more information about the differences between the AnyConnect VPN connection and the Easy Proxy connection. Right now we're going to show you how to install the Cisco AnyConnect VPN client. So there are directions available through the LTS website using this link here, and that will take you to our VPN instructions. And if you come down here, you'll see that there's an option for the different operating systems that we support. So I'm going to go to the Macintosh one. There are some differences between the two systems. Macintosh, we go directly to the website and download the client. For Windows, we've actually created a utility that you can download the VPN client as well as a client to also map your drives to the Lehigh network drives. And you can still do that with the Macintosh. We have the directions here, and there is a separate link down here for the Mac connector so that you can access your drives. And we're going to start at the top of the directions here and go ahead and connect to the Cisco client. We want to be able to access library resources, so we have two options, general access and library resources access. General access provides split tunneling, which means only Lehigh traffic will go across the VPN, and library resources provides full VPN tunneling, which means all traffic will go across. And you would just log in using your Lehigh username and password. And now what it's going to do is go through the installation process, and this usually takes between 2 and 5 minutes depending on your connection speed and your operating system. So we do support Windows, the Macintosh, as well as Linux systems. And what it's going to do is it's going to depend on what your browser is. Right now Chrome is not supported by the Cisco AnyConnect VPN client, so you'd have to use either Firefox or Safari on the Mac, or Firefox or Internet Explorer on a PC. And then it will just go through these steps depending on your operating system and your browser. It will check for certain things to make sure they're installed, and then it will install the client for you. Once the client is installed, you will no longer have to go to this website. The client itself will do the connection for you and will be just like another piece of software on your computer that will allow you to access it. While we're waiting for this to download, I'll talk a little bit more about the two different VPN setups. The general access, which I mentioned before, is a split tunneling. That will only allow traffic that's directly related to Lehigh on it. The reason we have the library resources one is because many of our database vendors are off campus, so we'd like to make sure that we can access those as well. So we allow full tunneling, meaning all traffic will go across the VPN network for the library research choice. So now it's installing the client on the computer. It has everything that it needs. And now it tells you that it is installed. On the Mac, we have the system tray, which tells us that we're connected, and we can keep that there so that we can connect or disconnect to it anytime. So now I want to take you over to one of our library resources. So here I am in the database finder, and I've searched for Research Library, and I want to connect to Research Library. Now normally when you're off campus, you would get the Easy Proxy login, which would allow you to access that service. But using the VPN client, it actually thinks that we're on the Lehigh campus even though we are not physically there at that time, and takes us right into the database because we're on the VPN client. The advantage of that is we can always bounce back and forth between databases, use RefWorks, save things to our H drive if we wanted to. So it makes it much easier and fluid to do library research using that option. Now if you are off campus, And let me just disconnect my VPN client so that it does show that I'm off campus. As I mentioned, you can still access the library resources. In this case, we're going to go back to the library research and search our database. Oh, it must still have my VPN client, so let me try that one more time. Let me clear out my cache to make sure that it does truly recognize me now as being off campus. And let me just double check my VPN client, and I am disconnected. So this time if I click on it, it should take me to my Easy Proxy login, and it does. So as you can see, I can still access the library resources even without using VPN. If you have any trouble when you connect to the VPN client or need further assistance doing library research, please feel free to contact the help desk at 610-758-4357.